Hello viewers, this video is about technical discussion for the task 1 only. I hope that you would have already seen explanatory video for all 3 tasks, and that was just the explanation. The source code that I'm going to build in pseudocode, sorry, I will be uploading and you can download it from the explanation of this video under it, and the simulator is already shared. I'm going to share it again with this video as well. So let us start. Actually, for this task, the task 1 is the complete task. I mean the complete program. Task 2 and task 3 are basically the extension of task 1 for few of the changes. But contrary to common belief that when we complete task 1 and task 2 and then task 3, then the whole program will be completed. That's not the case. Task 1 itself is the whole program. So whatever written here in this explanation and the task 1, they are the complete program. So let us start. And technically, we will be using our simulator to explain its output. So let's see. So it says that a car park payment system allows customer to select number of hours to leave their car in the car park. Now, this is as per this particular data table. So if they are leaving the car park, their car in the car park during first half, then there is limit to maximum stay in hours. And in second half, there is no limit at all. So they can stay from whatever the hour they arrive till midnight. So we would have to calculate that if their end time is crossing the midnight, then we would have to tell them that that would be the part of validation and we would not let that through. Rather, the validation part will be explaining them that the number of hours they have entered are now crossing midnight, so they have to re-enter a number of hours of stay in the park. So the customer will get a discount if they enter their frequent parking number correctly. The system calculates and displays the amount the customer must pay. The price of parking, the number of hours the customer can enter, and any discount depend upon the day of the week and arrival time. The number of hours entered is a whole number. The price per hour is calculated using the price in force at the arrival time. No parking is allowed between midnight and 8. So let us check all this would work once in simulator. So let's say for Sunday over here, you can see it. Task 1, let's say I enter empty. Then there is a validation check which is called presence check, which does not let you through if you don't enter at least one day. So let's enter Sunday. I'm telling you all this because we are going to program such later. Sunday. Now we have to tell that what is the hour of arrival. Means is it between 8 and 15:59 or between 16 and midnight? So if someone says that 7, so we know that after midnight until 8 it is not allowed. So we have this check in place already, or if we arrive at midnight, it would not be allowed as well. So let's say if it is Sunday, then we have to check if it is allowed for maximum more than 8 hours if we enter, let's say between 8 and 15:59. So if I enter 10, means that I arrived at 10 a.m. and I stayed for, let's say, 9, it won't be allowed today. 9 hours stay is not allowed. This is another validation check that we have to enforce. And then if I say that I stayed for 8 hours, then it will be allowed. So again for Sunday, sorry, again for Sunday, if I arrived after 16, let's say 16 or at 16, then I can stay for 10 hours. But the thing is that after 16 for 10 hours, it would be more than midnight. So this validation check is also checking if we are staying over midnight. So then it would say that you cannot stay beyond midnight. So it means that after 16, number of hours are allowed as many as possible, but not as many that it goes beyond midnight. So let's say if I arrive at 21, it will be, um, sorry, I arrived at 16. So let's say if I come for, let's say, 6 hours, then it will accept it. So you need to understand that there are validation checks. For the day entry, we would have presence check, and then hour of arrival would have, we cannot come before 8 a.m. and after midnight. Since they have said that we have to ignore any minute and only have to take hours, so it means that we cannot even enter 24. Because if someone has arrived at 23:35, so we are not going to take 35, we are only entering 23. So 23 is the last hour before the midnight. So we cannot even enter 24 because that would be the midnight, and after midnight it is not allowed to stay. And then it comes to maximum stay in hours. So if someone have arrived between 8 and 15:59, means 8 and 15, then we would have to check which day it is. If it is Sunday here, then we can stay for maximum 8 hours. If it is Monday, then we can stay for maximum 2 hours. And Monday through Friday, it is 2 hours. And on over Saturday, we can stay for 4 hour max if we have arrived between 8 and 15. But if we have arrived after or on 1600 hours, then we can stay for maximum number of hours. But from 16 onwards up to midnight, there are 8 hours. So we can stay if we have arrived in second half up to midnight. So we would have two validation checks. Number one, we have to enter the number of hours which are possible between the time of arrival and the midnight. And secondly, we have to check if the time is between 1600 hours and midnight, then this check will be enforced. So this would be a little complex check. So we will be discussing it when we look into the pseudocode. Anyways, I wanted you to understand this. So let's sum up. First, we have to enter the day. We will be applying presence check that we cannot leave any day blank. Secondly, we will be asking for arrival hour, and that arrival hour should be between 8 and 23, not midnight. Thirdly, we will be asking for the maximum stay in hours. If it is between 8 and 13, then according to this table here, we can stay. But if it is after 16, then we can stay all the way up to midnight, but that should not cross midnight. Let's see how it goes further. A frequent parking number can be entered for discounted parking. This number consists of 4 digits and a check digit that is calculated using modulo 11 check digit calculation. A discount of 50% is available for arrival times from 1600 to midnight. The discount is 10% at all other arrival times. So let's have a discussion for this check digit first. Now, we don't have to create a check digit. All we have to do is to check the check digit if the user has entered it correctly. So let's first revise how the check digit works. And what there are several ways using for the check digit making and checking. The one that we are going to use over here is according to a past paper question, and I'll explain. There are two ways which I can explain, and we will be adopting the one which is in the past papers. So let's say that we have got a number 4263 and we have to find a check digit. So the rule says that multiply every number by its position, sorry, every digit by its position. So this is the number and this is the position of the digits in the number. What we are going to do, we are going to find the check digit. Now, this is 4, this is 4, this is 18, and this is 12. So let's add these. This is 38. 12 and 8, 20, 30, 34, 38. Now, since it says that it is modulo 11, modulo 11 means we have to divide this 38 by 11. So this digit sometimes is treated as check digit. So the check digit will be 5. Now, the number that will be given to frequent parking card will be this 42635, and then computer will work out, leaving this 5, will work out these 4 digits and find its own check digit, and then computer will check its check digit with this entered check digit. If the two match, it means the check digit is entered correctly. In another way, so for another way of finding check digit and how to check it back in validation, let's take 4, 3, 1, 6 as our number, and let's find how the check digit is calculated. So this is the position. Now, instead of from left to right, right to left position will be marked. Since we don't have the check digit yet, so we will leave this part, and rest would be, this is 12, this is 3, this is 12, this is 20. So this would be 12, 12, 24, 24 plus 20, 44, 45, 46, 47. Then because of modulo 11, we will be dividing this 47 by 11. Now the remainder is 3. This rule says that subtract remainder from 11. Let's do that. 11 minus 3, this is 8. And this result is actually our check digit. So now actual number would become 4, 3, 1, 6, and 8. Now this is the method we are going to adopt for the validation check in our task 1. So let's see how this will be done. So 8 will be multiplied by 1, 6 will be multiplied by 2, 1 will be multiplied by 3, 3 will be multiplied by 4, 4 will be multiplied by 5. So the answer would be 8, 12, 3, 12, and 20. As we know that when we added these, this was 47. And when we add 8 to it, this would become 55. So if we divide 55 by 11, we won't have anything left. Nothing left means the number that is entered is correct. That is what we are going to use in our validation check for the frequent parking card number. This is the method. So let's go further. So after checking the frequent parking number, if the number is correct and someone has arrived in later hours, then they will be given 50% discount. And if someone has arrived in first half of the day, which is from 8 to 4, sorry, 15:59, they will be given 10% discount. Now, write and test a program or programs to simulate car parking payment system. So let's start with task 1. A customer inputs the day. So let's see how the day is being input. I'm not going to discuss the use of variables at the moment. I mean how to declare them and initialize them. As soon as there would be a need for that variable, we will be looking into it, not at the start. So let's see. First of all, we have to validate and enter a day, as in here. For task 1, if I'm not entering any day, so a message appears that you cannot leave the day blank. So what is happening? It is a good practice to use repeat until loop for the validation. Because with other one, which is while and end while, you have to take input before while, and again inside the loop you would have to take input again. So in order to avoid two inputs for one validation check, repeat is a good idea. So I have used it, but it is not enforced. It's up to your own way of doing it, but I prefer using repeat for the validation. So now repeat says, when the repeat starts, it says output enter day. So over here, it is appearing enter day. So this is called prompt. This is the prompt. And even you can see that if there is a space here. So after the space, input of the day is happening means when we say input day, cursor blinks over there and it is waiting for our input. All right, so this is the prompt from E to this space, from E to this space. Prompts make your programs input easy and they have to be there, and it is the requirement of our PRM as well. Your program or programs must include appropriate prompts for the data entry. Data must be validated on entry. This is what is happening over here. So let's see. So this is the prompt which is appearing and it is asking for the input of the day. So let's say I entered nothing. Now what happened when I entered nothing? The day remained blank. This is called blank. And in technical terms, we call it null. So nothing has been entered. So it is a check in here which checks if the day that is entered is blank or null. Then output, you can't leave the day blank. You can see over here, this output is appearing. You can't leave the day blank. Now, if you see here, it says that error messages and other output need to be set out clearly and understandably, and that is what exactly happening over here. So if you have left the day blank, then there is an error message. That is how the validation works. So it says that until day is not equal to null, until unless you have entered something, I mean a day, it won't let you go out. So it has sent it back to repeat, and then repeat gives us the prompt again, and there the prompt comes in. That is how it is happening. So let's say I enter Sunday. So it went further. Now, which variable have we used? It is a day variable, and this day variable must have a format, a data type. So the data type for the day must be text or string. So see, I have declared here, declare day as what? String. I have declared day as string, and then you need to initialize it as well. So these are declarations and this is initialization. Day must be initialized to null, means before it is being used, it should be null. That is how the initialization happen. And if it is a number or another data type, there is separate sort of initialization for each type. We will be discussing on the way. All right. So the first input is done. A customer inputs the day. Until here it is completed. Now the hour of arrival excluding minutes. For example, 15:45 would be 15. Now we have to enter hour of arrival. Now hour of arrival must be between 8 and 23, because if someone arrives at 24, they won't be allowed in. So actual range is from 8 to 23. So if someone has arrived at the park at 23, they will only be allowed to stay in for 1 hour, not more than that. Anyways, so it's a range check, range from 8 to 23. Let's see. Now there is another validation check. Now this check, this simulator is uploaded and its link is in the video's explanation. So please download it from there if you like. So again, the validation this time is being enforced using repeat until, and validation is range check, and which is checking that whenever we enter, we should enter between 8 and 23. So the prompt over here is asking for it. Enter hour of arrival 8 to 23. It's a good prompt. And then this cursor over here is blinking and asking for the arrival hour. And then if I enter it wrong, let's say at 7, which is less than 8, you can see over here there is a proper error message set out, which says that allowed hours for parking are from 8 till midnight. So you cannot enter it. And then the check-in repeat checks if the hour is between 8 and midnight inclusive, then it will be allowed. Since the hour that we have entered is 7, which is less than 8, so until send it back to repeat, and repeat is then put the prompt for us once again. Now, if I enter between 8 and 10, 8 and 23, which is 10 a.m., it will be accepted. So that is how this validation works. The thing to understand over here is that this is a range check. This is a different check than the presence check. Why we have applied range? Because it was given that the parking user must be arriving between 8 and 23, not before it, not after that. Now, another thing that you might have noticed over here, that I have used this midnight. Computer does not understand anything by itself. So this midnight must have some sort of thing attached with it. So this midnight is a constant. This arrival hour is a variable, because whenever you enter a value, the value inside arrival hour changes. But midnight is a constant. Now, what is a constant? First, for that, we have to observe over here that this midnight is a constant because it is 2400 hour. And these prices are constant over here for the later part of the day. So when we see something constant that way, and it is mentioned over here as well that it is midnight, so we made constants. So constants are anti-variables. Once they are set throughout the execution of program, they cannot change. So that gives us an edge that if we have a change in that constant, we won't be going through the whole pseudocode or source code and making those changes, or we are searching it and changing it. Rather, we set it once at the start of the program, like in here, and then we use it constantly throughout the program. So let's say at any given day, not happened here, the price for the later half of the day is changed. And that is no more 2, it is, let's say, 3. So all we would have to do is to go back in our program and make the change over here. So wherever evening prices are mentioned, that would now be used as 3 rather than 2. So that's the edge. That's the edge given to us. Means reusability. So wherever we would have mentioned midnight, it would be treated as 24. Wherever we would have mentioned evening price, it would be taken as 2. So instead of writing 24 or 2 over there, we made it a constant. So let's get back. So when it says that until arrival hour is greater than or equal to 8 and arrival hour is less than or equal to less than midnight, then it is accepted. So until from 8 until 23. Now you might ask, sir, if midnight is 24, arrival start at 8, so you can make another constant. I just made it because I saw that there's a word for it. Like in here, it is not mentioned 24, rather it is mentioned as the word midnight. So I thought that it is a good idea to make a constant by the name midnight, and that is what I have used. Anyways, let's go further. Third input that is required is the number of hours to leave their car. The number of hours to leave their car. Now, if the number of hours to leave their car is in first half from 8 to 15, then we would have to check which day it is. And if it is between these days, then we would have to cross check that how many hours stay is allowed. So if someone would have entered 10 on Sunday, no, that's not allowed. If they have entered 3 on Monday till Friday, it will not be allowed as well. But if it is Saturday and they have asked for 3 hours, it will be allowed. So if it is not first half on any given day, then there is a catch. And the catch is, let's say they arrived at 1900 hours, which we have already input. And then they say that they will be staying for, let's say, 5 hours. So that means that the departure hour will be after 23. No, if they have arrived at 1900 hours and 20, 21, 22, 23, and 1, yes, after midnight. So that will not be allowed. So let's see how it happens. Let's say on Sunday, the maximum stay in hours. Let's say I said, let's do it once again. The day is Sunday, hour of arrival is 1900 and I stayed for 5. So that is allowed, sorry. If it is task 1, Sunday, arrived at 1900 hours and 6, then it says that you cannot stay beyond midnight. Now, let's see how we have actually enforced this validation. This is a bit lengthy code because it would have 2 to 3 checks in it. So let's see how we have handled it. Now, first of all, we have got this variable hours allowed. We have used it at several locations over here. But the type of this variable is Boolean. You know the data type Boolean, which has true or false in it. So we have made it false. All right. This type of variable, which is Boolean, it is made false at the start of a procedure, and then during the procedure we checked few things. If those things happened and we made it true, and we checked it at the end, if it is true, such type of variables are called flags or switch. The most common term is flag. So why do we have to use it? Because there are several checks. If all those checks are okay, then we will make this hours allowed true. Otherwise, it will remain false. If it is true, then this repeat until validation loop will let it go through, let it out. If it is not true during the check, then it will send it back to repeat, and it will be after showing this error message. So user has an idea that they have entered something wrong. Let's see how the whole thing works. So what's happening is, let's say user has entered 6. Hour of arrival is 19. 19 plus 6 is 25. So what happened that we made this hours allowed false before the validation loop starts, and then we set out a clear prompt, enter maximum stay in hours. There we go. Enter maximum stay in hours. That was 6. So stay hours is an integer that takes 6. So the value of stay hour is 6 now. Now we have to calculate departure hour, and then we would have to check if the departure hour is beyond midnight. And remember that midnight is a constant, which is 24 in itself. So how do we calculate departure hour? We will be adding stay hours, which was entered here, and in this case it is 6, to arrival hour, which is 19. 19 plus 6 becomes 25, and departure hour is 25, which is 1 a.m. exactly. Now we are checking if departure hour is less than or equal to midnight. No, it was not. It is not less than or equal to midnight, rather it was greater than midnight. So because this particular check is false, this if will right jump at this else. Had this been true, means the departure hour would have been less than or equal to midnight, it goes inside it, but since it was not, it was greater than this, it came here. And it says that you cannot stay beyond midnight. So it says that you cannot stay beyond midnight. It's a fairly clear message that was given. Now, since we have made this hours allowed false, and it remained false, because had this been true and other checks been true, it would have become true. But now, since after this check it jumps right to this position, it remained false. And if it is false, this until would not let it go out. So when it would let it go out? When the hours allowed is true. So this is kind of validation check which makes sure that when the condition is true, only then user will get out. So any wrong input is rejected. So now it has come back, shown this prompt with output, and now it is asking for the hour again. So maximum hours after 19 that those are allowed are 5. So let's enter 4. It let it through. Now let's check what happened. Now the stay hour is 4. Departure hour is calculated. 19 plus 4, that has become 2300 hours. So if departure hour is less than or equal to midnight, yes, it is less than midnight. 1 hour less than midnight. Then it has gone inside this loop. Over here, it checks that if the arrival hour is less than 1600, means if it has the person who have parked their car, if they have arrived before 1600, no, they have not. They have arrived at what? 19. So it will jump to this place. Since user has arrived at 19, they stayed for 4, that is allowed, and it has arrived over here. So now this time our allowed will become true. After this end if, and then it will jump to this end if, and then at this condition until ours allowed is equal to true, and this is now true, so it comes out. On contrary, if we do it again, enter our day, let's say Sunday, hour of arrival is before 16, that is 12. Now on Sunday we have arrived before 13. We arrived at 12. So now it is less than 15, that is fine. So now the maximum stay allowed is 8. So let's see what it does. I say 9. So today 9 hours stay is not allowed. See, this validation check is threefold. 2 checks we have already carried out, and this is the third one. So let's see how this is happening. So stay hours are now 9. Departure hour is calculated. Arrival hour is 12. 12 plus 9 is 21. So 21 is less than midnight, true. So it has come inside this check, inside this if check. It is nested if. Now it checks if arrival hour is less than 16. Yes, it was 12. It is less than 16. So now it is checking if it is Sunday. Yes, it is Sunday. And stay hours are less than or equal to 8. No. Then it checks else if day is equal to Saturday. No. Else if stay hours are less than or equal to 2. No. So then it says that today 9, this stay hour variable will be this today with this space is can be seen here, and then stay hours are 9. So it makes a clear message that today 9 hours stay is not allowed. I want you to understand this thing from this table. If it is Sunday and someone has stayed for less than or equal to 8, then if it is Sunday and someone would have stayed for less than or equal to 8, then hours allowed is true, and then system will jump to this and if and hours allowed are true, so it will get out. Similarly, in second condition, what is different is Saturday. If day is Saturday and someone has stayed for less than 4, then hours allowed will be true. And for any other day, we don't have to check the day then. Only we are checking if stay is less than or equal to 2, because 2 is allowed in all of the cases. So you can see over here, there are just 3 conditions. If it is Sunday, less than or equal to 8 hours are allowed. If it is Saturday, then less than or equal to 4 hours are allowed. Rest of the days, only 2 hours. So we have made this nested if over here for the same. If arrival hour is less than 16, because if it is between 8 and 15:59, yes, then they have to check if it is Sunday, then for 8 hours, then it is allowed true. If it is Saturday, and then if it is under or equal to 4 hours over here, then it is allowed. For any other day, if it is less than or equal to 2, then it is allowed. And we have already checked if they have arrived afterwards, not less than 16, then it is allowed anyway. And on top of it, we have already calculated departure hour, and departure hour is if it is less than or equal to midnight, and then it checks if it is less than 1600 hours, then it checks according to this table, and if it is beyond 1600 hours or equal to 1600 hours, then it only checks if the departure hour is greater than midnight. That is how the whole check happens, and this is actually the validation. But this validation is not straightforward. This is a validation which is based on this flag, which is Boolean variable. So if departure hour is less than midnight, then it checks. If arrival hour is less than 1600, then it checks. If it is Sunday and less than or equal to 8, then it is okay. If it is Saturday and it is less than or equal to 4, then it is okay. If it is any other day and they have stayed for less than or equal to 2 hours, then it is okay. But if departure hour is less than midnight and arrival hour is less than 16, and they have stayed for more than 8 hours on Sunday or more than 4 hours on Saturday, or on any other day more than 2 hours, then this message will come out. On the other hand, if departure hour is less than or equal to midnight and they have arrived after 1600 hours, then it goes directly over here and allow hours, because after 4 o'clock, I mean 1600, any number of hours, if they are under midnight, they are allowed. And in case if departure hour is after midnight, then it goes to this part and it says that you cannot stay beyond midnight. So there are 3 types of checks. Departure hour should be less than midnight, and if it is greater than 1600, then it is allowed. And if it is less than 1600, then there are 3 conditions. 1, if it is Sunday, then it has to be less than or equal to 8. 2, if it is Saturday, then it has to be less than or equal to 4. And on any other day, it has to be less than or equal to 2. So this third condition has again 3 checks in it. So that is how the whole thing is being checked. and validated over here. All right. So maximum stay in hours is 9. On Sunday, 9 hours are not allowed because you arrived in first half of the. So if I say 8 hours, it will take it. Excuse me. Now the next part. It says, and a frequent parking number if available. This if available means that we would have to first ask our user if they have this parking number. Means if they have purchased this frequent parking number card, or they have this card, whatever. And then if it is there, then we will ask them to enter all 5 digits of it. And then we will apply the same check digit mechanism that we discussed. All right, so let's see. But one thing before we go any further, if frequent parking number has an incorrect check digit, then no discount can be applied. Until now, for these 3 validation checks that we have carried out over here, the wrong input was being rejected. Now it will not be rejected. Rather, what happens that if someone says that yes, they do have a frequent parking number and they enter the number wrong, how do we check this? Using check digit mechanism. If they say it is wrong, if they enter it is wrong, then discount will not be given. But it would not be the validation of sort that wrong input is being rejected. Rather, if the input is correct, they will be given discount. If input is incorrect, they will not be given discount without being told that the number that they have entered is incorrect, and that is why discount is not being given. So it is straightforward. So a frequent parking number, if available, we will ask them first, and if it is there, then we'll ask them to enter the number. Then we will check the number. If the number is correct, we will be giving them discount as per the rules further. If they have entered, they have it and they have entered it wrong, then no discount will be granted. Let's see how we accomplish it. Now there is another flag. Before we go any further, let's check. We covered day, stay hours, it is integer, arrival hour, it is integer, and departure hour that we use to calculate if someone has arrived in time, but when they are leaving after the time. We use this, and now we are going to use this digit 1, digit 2, digit 3, digit 4, and check digit to take input. We remember that a check digit has 5 digits code. Digit 1, digit 2, digit 3, digit 4, and the check digit. So we will be calculating our own result in X, and if it is 0, then we will be giving them discount. Otherwise, we will not be giving them discount. So this discount like hours allowed is another flag, which is Boolean type, and all those variables which are Boolean are actually initialized over false. That's the rule. Until unless there is good reason, the first value, the first futile value which is being given to variables are null for string text or characters, and zeros for any sort of numbers, and false for Boolean variable. Now this discount is a Boolean variable which is initialized at false. Allowed is a Boolean variable which is being used as a flag and also initialized at false. Now, why we have used this discount is equal to false? Over here, let's see. First of all, there's an output, which is a prompt. Now, this is not repeat until validation thing. This is a simple thing. This is not sort of that validation. This is only because we wanted to know if the number that they have entered is correct or not. So, we ask them, do you have frequent parking card number? We ask them, do you have frequent parking card number? And we take input in answer. Answer is also a string variable which takes input for yes and no, and it is initialized at null. So if the answer is yes, if user says no, then discount remains false, and if user says yes, then we go inside and we ask them, see, it is asking me, do you have frequent parking card? Do you have frequent parking card? I say, yes, I do have. Then it comes in, it checks that if the answer is yes, which I have actually made yes, then output enter frequent parking number. So I enter frequent parking number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is correct in my sense. See, the discount is given, but 10% discount because I arrived in R before 1600. Sorry, R in before 1600, which is 12. So let's check the same number that we made that time. Over here, the number is 4316, and then we found a check digit which was 8. So the number had become 43168. And if the number is correct, this remainder over here must be then 0. If the remainder over here is 0, then it means the number that is entered is correct. So let's check it with this number as well as with a wrong number. 43618. So task 1, day is Sunday, hour of arrival is 12, maximum stay is 5 hours. Yes. What was that? 43168. So let's first enter 43168, and you see it says that the discount was given. That is true, and discount was 10%. So discount is given. So let's enter a wrong number as well. Task 1, Sunday, hour of arrival is 12, maximum stay in hours is, let's say, 5. Do you have frequent parking card number? Yes. 43216. This is a wrong number. You see, discount given is now false. So it is working. Remember, let me revise it once again. The number that is entered is having its check digit with it. All we have to do is to apply this method where every single digit is being multiplied with its position from right to left. Results are being added and they are divided by 11. For having this number to be correct, it has to be a remainder 0. Let's go further to the next check. Next input. The price to park based on the day, the hour of arrival, the number of hours of parking required, and any discount available is calculated and displayed. If you do remember this any discount available, we have saved a true or false. See over here, if the remainder is 0, we multiplied first digit by 5, second by 4, third by 3, fourth by 2, and check digit by 1. And this mod means that divide the number by 11, and whatever the remainder, assign that to x. In case if the number is correct, the number that was entered, if it is 0, it means that discount is true. Otherwise, we made this discount false. So this discount is a flag once again. It was given false. If the number entered is correct, it is true. And afterwards, when we will be checking pricing, so this discount would come to play. And because of this discount thing, we will be giving discount or we will not be giving discount. Anyways, so the price to park based on the day, which day the user of the car parking arrived, has an hour of arrival, the hour of arrival which we have entered, number of hours which we have entered and validated, and any discount available. We have now whether to give discount or not in form of true and false, it's there. So everything is there. Now we have to calculate the price to charge. Let's see how. First of all, we have to see if the arrival hour is greater than or equal to 16. So you can see here, if they have come on any day, regardless what day it is, if they have come after 1600 hours, the price is just straight 2. If it is after 1600 hours, price is just 2. And it is not per hour, it is flat price until midnight. So let's say if you have come at 2, then at 16, then actually you will only be charged 2. All right. So if they have arrived on any given day after 16, amount is straight. Amount is equal to evening price. Evening price, if you do remember, we made a constant. Evening price is 2. So if this constant gets changed at any given time, that new change will be assigned to amount. All right. So if they have arrived before 1600 hours, then there are 3 conditions. What are 3 conditions? If they have arrived on Sunday, they will be charged 2 per hour of stay. If they have arrived on Saturday, that is second, they will be charged 3 per hour of the stay. And if they have arrived on any other day, they will be charged 10 for every hour they stayed. That is very simple. Let's see. So if the day is Sunday, if they have not arrived afterwards or on 16, then they must have arrived between 8 and 15:59, which is 15 only. If day is equal to Sunday, then price is straightforward 2. If day is Sunday, then price is straightforward 2. If day is Saturday, then price is 3. Otherwise, for any other day, the price is 10. So if they have arrived afterwards in second half, including 16, then amount is straightforward 2. Otherwise, if they have entered any other day on before 1600 hours, the price will be according to the day. For Sunday it is 2, for Saturday it is 3, and for any other day it is 10. And then before in first half before 1600, we have to calculate the amount. So whatever the number of hours they stayed for, the price that is calculated will be multiplied. Now this price and amount are the currency data types. and they will be initialized at 0.0 or just 0. That does not matter, but they are currency data types. So currency is a separate data type. So whenever you are calculating any amount or assigning prices, they will be initialized as, sorry, declared as currency and then initialized as 0.0. So that is how the amount is calculated. Now comes the part which is discount. So we already have a true or false in the discount. If the user of the car parking has a card and they have entered the number correctly, the discount would be true. The flag discount would be true. If the user of the park does not have card or they have entered their card wrong, then discount will not be given. So it says that if discount is equal to true, then if they have arrived after 16, so it has already been told here that a discount of 50% is available for arrival time from 1600 to midnight, and discount is 10% at all other arrival times. Means if they have come before 1600, then it is 10% discount, and if they have come on or after 1600, then the discount is just 50%. So see, these two slashes means comments. These are the comments, means they have nothing to do with the code or source code, or they do not require to be remembered. It is just for you when you look at the code, then you would have an idea. Then if arrival hour is greater than or equal to 16, then if the discount is true, then if arrival hour is greater than or equal to 16, then amount will be divided by 2 or multiplied by 0.5. These are the same things. So amount will be reduced to half, 50% discount. Else, if they are not arrived afterwards, after 1600 hours, that means they arrived before 1600 hours, then their amount will be reduced by 10%. If you multiply anything by 0.9, it will be reduced by 10%. If it is 100, it will become 90. That is how the amount, the discount will be given over the amount calculated. Now, since the amount is calculated, let's see what it says further. The price to park, all right, we calculated it based on the day, we considered it, hour of arrival, we considered it, the number of hours of parking required, we considered it, and any discount available, we considered it, is calculated. So we have calculated. It is now in amount. If it is discount available, then the amount is discounted. If it is discount not available, then amount is not discounted. Anyways, amount is calculated. So it says and displayed. Let's just display the amount. So here we go. Now, for you people, it is not necessary to display the whole thing. It was just an idea, since they have asked for all based on the day and hour of arrival, number of hours stay, and any discount available. I just wanted to show it. So that is why I showed everything. Otherwise, all you have to do is just to show the amount. All right. Since it is not mentioned clearly that we have to show everything, it is like if you leave from this comma till this comma, then it says that price to park is calculated and displayed. That's it. You don't have to actually display all other factors because they are already being entered and being shown over here. They are all there. All right. So all you have to show is just to price to park, not everything else. All right. But if you or your teacher insist, or you think that that's a good idea, then take the whole thing with you. Otherwise, just the amount to park. Let's see. Now it says data entered and price to park calculated over here. This is the heading, and then there is a line being shown because of this output, and then the day, whatever the day that you would have entered is shown here, Sunday, and then time of arrival, comma, time of arrival. These are the variables, and these are the literals, means whatever when you are showing text is in double quotation will be shown as you can see over here. So this day is there, time of arrival it is there, hour stayed it is there, and whatever. So the day is shown here, and then time of arrival hour that we have taken input for, then hour stay. And if our arrival hour is greater than or equal to 16, then car parking price for full evening price is this. If they have arrived before 16, sorry, as we have entered 12, so it would say that car parking price per hour is 2, because you see in the evening the price is for full evening, but if it is in morning first half, then you would have to pay for every hour. So I set out output like this, but again it is purely your wish. You want to show all of it or just the price to park. I believe that they are asking for just the price to park over here. Anyways, so price to park is then given. If you have noticed, this discount is a Boolean variable. So if it is true, it will be shown discount given true, and if it is false, since we have not entered correct digit over here, I mean the number, they say that discount given is false. So price to park is calculated and shown. So my dear students and other fellows, whoever is watching this video, I tried my best to explain the task 1. If you have any question regarding this computer science pre-release material, task 1, technically, otherwise, the simulator is also uploaded and the link is given in the video's description below. The source code, the Python code, and the Visual Basic code all are uploaded and the links are given below. Download, use them, understand well, and if there are any questions that you need to ask, do ask. I see you then. Wait for the next video for task 2 technical description. Until then, take care.